talked about. So now we have a very interesting point that we have talked about hellish planets in the previous discussion. And in all those verses, we have discussed the sinful reactions to various types of activities committed, sinful activities committed by the living entity, by human beings. So naturally, now the discussion has gone very heavy. The lowermost planetary systems and what kind of punishments are meted out to sinful personalities. So immediately, now to test the alertness of his disciple, Shukdev Goswami has talked about piety and impiety. He's talked about atonement of sinful activities. So it is in a way right answer and also not the right answer. So you see, a spiritual master must also test his disciple at all times. And disciple must also remain alert at all times. Now, on the face of it, this is actually the correct argument because we have discussed sinful reactions. Now we must also talk about the mitigation of those sinful reactions. So, sinful reactions are not mitigated if one continues living sinfully, does not perform any atonement, the reactions actually increase. It's like a disease. In the next verse, we're going to see that. So, one has to suffer many things. Like, for example, we see so many people with epilepsy, with so many kind of chronic diseases. One's life becomes miserable, especially in India, if you see. You see beggar children who are blind, who have limbless. All these things are coming from our past lives. Therefore, one must understand that in order to lead a life of peace, one must be sinless. However, devotional service is not being talked about here. We're only talking about mitigation of sinful reactions. So, Srila Prabhupada is actually giving you an extended purport. He's saying, Mam yo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So, the translation actually is one who renders devotional service without deviation. Avyabhicharena. Mamayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. So without deviation. So bhakti, which is deviated, which is mixed with material desires, sometimes it is broken, that kind of a bhakti does not yield fruitful results. That does not lead one to advance in spiritual life. So one has to render the service apratihata ahetuki yayatma suprasidati. So apratihata ahetuki. So devotional service means it's a very serious affair. You see, devotional service is not actually it's the most difficult process because in this process one has to be absolutely pure. In bhakti, one has to be absolutely dedicated to the Supreme Lord and one must be free from false ego. All the other forms of yoga, such as karma yoga or jnana yoga or dhyan yoga, can be rendered with false ego because there is no such provision there. Those are mechanical processes. But bhakti means heart must be transformed. Without the transformation of heart, bhakti cannot be rendered. So that's why Krishna is saying, Mam yo avyabhicharena. So therefore, bhakti is actually the most difficult yoga process because one cannot carry one's misconceptions in this process. One has to be absolutely surrendered to the Lord. So Krishna is saying, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samah sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhte param. So one has to be Brahma Bhuta. One has to be on an absolutely spiritual platform. Then bhakti starts. Before that, all that we do is sadhana. Of course, the Lord is protecting even a sadhaka, but a sadhaka will not be able to relish devotional service. He may imagine that he's enjoying something, but his concentration will always be towards his family, society, and other such things. Devotion means when one is exclusively dedicated only to Krishna, just like we see the example of six Goswamis or Haridas Thakur, or from Grihasthas, we can even see the examples of Advaita Acharya or Srivas Thakur. So even though on the face of it they were Grihasthas, their love and devotion was only for Lord Chaitanya. If you see, for example, the story of Srivas Thakur, his son passed away when Mahaprabhu was doing the kirtan and the ladies started crying. But Srivas Thakur went and quieted them. He said, he told them, he said, don't disturb the kirtan of Mahaprabhu. Don't cry so loudly. Just remain quiet. If you want to cry, just cry after the kirtan is over. So it was Mahaprabhu who stopped his kirtan and came inside. So you see, from Grahasthas, we can see the example of Srivas Thakur. But we are not of that standard. Our dedication is more towards our own family, our own desires. Therefore, we are sadhakas. We have a long way to go. So, unless one's devotion is so, this is vyabhicharana. This is not avyabhicharana. This is vyabhicharana bhakti. So, such bhakti is not going to yield the desired result of Krishna prema. But still, it is better than nothing. It will still help us advance towards pure devotion. Hare Krishna. Yes. So, questions or comments?
Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. I have one question.
Hmm.
Prabhuji, now that we are in Grihastashram,
Hmm.
so we have so many responsibilities. So is it possible then to completely surrender because we have so many responsibilities, as said, professional responsibilities are there, family responsibilities are there. Even though we are trying, but completely surrender, is it possible in Grihastashram?
Yes. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had 11 children and he was a magistrate of Calcutta Presidency, deputy magistrate. So his responsibilities are very heavy. But he took all his time in trying to propagate the mission of Lord Chaitanya. So we are not able to do that. Even when we have time, we waste it. We waste it in playing with our family members. We appreciate the beauty of our children. We look after our investments and so many things. See, like I discussed previously also, what is the objective of our life? If the objective is Krishna, we will find time to propagate the mission of the Lord. Jare dekha, tare kaha Krishna upadesh. Amara agya hai Guru, tara hai ei desh. So one should always, so in Gaudiya, we are in the Gaudiya mission. In our Gaudiya mission, our objective is to propagate the message of Lord Chaitanya. That means we must somehow or the other always try to spread this message. So Grihasthas are not able to do that. Grihasthas are content in simply practicing. So that is actually a recipe for disaster. Because simply by practicing Krishna consciousness in the age of Kali, one will not advance. One will actually eventually just fall back into Maya. Actually, for most of the Grihasthas, the so called devotional service itself is Maya. Because Maya convinces them that they are doing good. If you are satisfied in bhakti, then you are actually in Maya. If within your heart you are always feeling the pain that you are not able to do bhakti properly, then you are actually advancing. But if you feel I am doing good, my bhakti is adequate, then you are totally in Maya because there is no bhakti at all. So if we see the example and like to support this argument from the scriptures, so what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying? Yugayitam nimishena chakshusha prabrashaitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. So actually the sign of advancement in bhakti is that one feels more miserable. One feels more and more separation from Krishna. One understands that he is completely separated from Krishna. So that is a sign. If one is beginning to feel happy, more and more happy all the time, then one is not really advancing. Then Maya is convincing him that he is good. But if one feels dissatisfaction, that I am not doing bhakti adequately, I am not serving the mission nicely, that is real advancement. That is a sign of advancement.
Prabhuji, I have one more doubt.
Yeah.
Like when we are alone, when we are at work or when we are at home while doing some of our chores, we can think of Krishna. Okay, we are constantly chanting also apart from our 16 rounds. But when we are with others, Prabhuji, or when we go to some family function, when we go to some program, we are surrounded by others. How can we remember Krishna that time?
Well, you have to remember, there's a cancer
How?
patient, if there's a cancer
Hmm.
patient on chemotherapy and some family members come to meet him, will he stop taking his therapy? You getting my point? Like if there's a heart patient, blood pressure patient, will he stop taking his medications just because he's visiting some family members or something? No, because there will
But
be a heart attack. He can die. So our
But
position is
he's not
also,
taking the medicine continuously, right? He just takes one time and then he will talk to the relatives, whoever comes.
so
He's
you also
continuously
chant.
not taking, right?
So you chant your rounds properly, you read your scriptures, and then you can meet family members. That is perfectly all right.
That's all.
See, when you
That's
feel
what, Prabhuji. When we are
dissatisfaction,
with others, we are not, when we are not with others, like suppose yesterday I went to a function. I was there for almost 3 to 4 hours. I
hmm,
had to be there because it was from my side function it was.
hmm,
So that time, I mean, I'm so surrounded by people. I'm so busy in inviting and greeting the people. I cannot, there is no time for Krishna. So afterwards, I feel, oh, this hours I could not memorize Krishna. So how think about Krishna? So what can we do about it, Prabhuji?
avoid avoid such functions. If there's a COVID hospital and all
So,
the patients are COVID patients, you would avoid going there. You know, we
But
discussed
being
this.
in Grihastha ashram, we have to do that, no, Prabhuji.
Minimum possible.
It is
Do it
like,
minimum possible. That's why Grihastha ashram is
okay.
not a very favorable place for bhakti. See,
Hmm.
look at it this way, Sanga tyaga sato vritte, Shadvir bhakti prasidhati. We're seeing that, Utsaha dhairya nishchayat, Utsaha nishchay dhairyat, tattat karma pravartanat. Sanga tyaga sato vritte, Shadvir bhakti prasidhati. So, Sanga tyaga, that is Rupa Goswami saying. Then a previous verse, Rupa Goswami has again spoken the same thing. What has he said that, Prajalpo niyamagraha, uh, what was that other verse? Uh, Janasangasya lolyam cha shadbhe bhakti vinashyati. So sangatyaga. So sangatyaga. Then he's saying. Then Mahaprabhu is saying asat sangatyaga ei Vaishnava achar, because this is asatsang. When I am with my cousins and their wives and children and everything, I am becoming enamored with material activities. So my mind is deviated from Krishna. I start and appreciating this material world.
Hmm.
So that is a danger for us. So the point is, you if you want to see whether it is dangerous or not, so you should think, did you really like it? If the answer is
Hmm.
yes, then it is dangerous. If you didn't like it, you just tolerated it, that's okay then.
Hmm.
We have to be practical. I mean, I'm not saying that you go into isolation now,
Hmm.
but minimize it. Not that you find out any obscure cousin and go to his wedding, his children's wedding, his uncle's wedding. Then you avoid all of that. And in reality, no one really cares. No one really cares who we are, what we do. So we have to
Hmm.
minimize this. Sangha tyaga sato vritte. So not that you just give up sangha, sato vritte. You must associate with sadhus also. And
Hmm.
sadhu sangha means always think and glorify Krishna, remember Krishna, his activities, or think about how miserable this material world is. Have those kind of discussions. How to become more detached from this material world. That is sangha tyaga. That is sato vritte. Otherwise, if you're sitting with sadhus and discussing where to find the most beautiful prasad, where to see what place and how to buy clothes, then that is not sadhu sang. Sadhu sang means discussion of Krishna and detachment from this material nature.
Yes, Prabhu.
It's a very difficult process. It's not easy at all. That's why I said, bhakti is the most difficult.
But sadhana is easy, Prabhuji.
Huh?
Sadhana is easy.
No, it is not. That's because you're an illusion. That's why you think sadhana is easy. You enjoy these family functions, you're in Maya.
No,
That
I didn't enjoy, but I was feeling bad. Okay, I did not remember Krishna. I wasted my time. I was feeling that guilt, I was having that guilt. What can be done? That's why I'm raising this question. Yesterday only the function happened, Prabhuji. So I was having that because rest of the time, whenever I'm free, I'm able to remember. But
hmm.
then when you are surrounded by people, there is no other way than remember. There is no other way I could find any way. That's why I asked you this question,
See,
Prabhuji.
one who's advancing in bhakti will find this material world insignificant. Then there will be no question of duties or anything. Krishna is saying, Sarva dharmana parityajya. If sadhana is going strong, we'll leave all our dharmas. Because Krishna is protecting every living entity, not us. We are not protecting our children or parents or anyone. Krishna is only protecting. When we think we are protecting, then we are an illusion. So
Hmm.
when sadhana is advancing, we'll realize how Krishna's hand is working behind us. Then we'll feel very much relaxed. Then we'll not work so hard in this material world. We'll realize Krishna will protect. Like Shivas Thakur, he was asked by Mahaprabhu, why don't you work? He said, well, why should I work? You are protecting me. Mahaprabhu said, well, this is nonsense. You should work. You are a grahastha. He said, no, if you don't provide me, I will die. I'm happy to die. So Mahaprabhu asked, and how do you manage? He said, well, I clap my hands 3 times. If I don't get what I want, I'll jump into Ganges. So you see, if we have that level of conviction, then our sadhana is really good. But if we are satisfied with our sadhana, then we are actually in illusion. Then we are in Maya. Better sadhana means that we should become more and more dissatisfied, that we are not doing anything really. Samsara vasana kabe shuddha habe man, kabe ham heribo Shri Vrindavan. This is what Narottam Das Thakur is singing. So samsara vasana is still there in our heart. Now I may say, oh, I am taking care of my parents, I am taking care of my children, my wife, and so on and so forth. That is sansara vasana. Vasana doesn't mean that I want to have sex with some female on the street. Okay, that is vasana. No, that is grossest vasana, sinful vasana. But to think, oh, I am protecting my children, I am protecting my household, that is also vasana. Atmendriya priti vancha tare kahe kam. So satisfaction of our own senses, that is kama, that is lust. So long as there is lust, our sadhana is actually not really working. It's progressing slowly. So once this vasana is gone, that when we realize, oh, only Krishna is protecting everything, then we are purified. Then our sadhana will be that is our real sadhana. If we want to see the standard of sadhana, we should see Haridas Thakur. So Maya Devi herself came to entice him, but he was not concerned. He said, okay, you may be very attractive, but I have to finish my sadhana first. So once I'm done, then I'll satisfy you. So if we are satisfied in our sadhana, we are an illusion. Yes, Anandram Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Dhanutnam Prabhu.
That's right.
Yesterday I was hearing one of the lectures of Keshwanand Prabhu, and I heard other places also. When we say literally Sangha doesn't mean just spending time with people. But most important is, are we getting influence? So we should introspect ourselves. Like one of the parameters you told, another parameter is like we have to introspect. Like, were we getting influenced and relishing the association of non-devotees in terms of are we accepting their perspectives, talks, and ideas, and thinking that this is going to be beneficial for me? So if that type of sangha we are taking, and at the same time when we are coming to a satsanga and we are not accepting the ideas, perspectives of the acharyas, so then the physical sangha is not at all the sangha actually we are talking about. So in both cases, many times this is where we are making mistakes. We think this is the sangha, we are coming together, spending some time. Oh, I am in the satsang, and oh, I have gone to some place, and oh, I had a bad association. But were you getting influenced, and were you accepting those things, and were you enjoying? Like you said, did you were happy spending those time? So that is a good parameter to judge for ourselves. It's a practical way of finding out.
Yeah, one has to be very careful in sadhu sangha also. Like, one should understand there should be genuine sadhu. Like, I met one supposed sadhu some days ago, and he was saying, oh, Prabhupada is so hard. He's always insulting women. So, I'm changing the philosophy. You have to be very intelligent. So, you see, this kind of sadhu sangha is nonsense. This is not sadhu sangha. This is asat sangha. If one is disagreeing with Acharya, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Vallabhacharya, so Vallabhacharya said, that I have read the commentaries of Sridhar Swami, and Sridhar Swami has made many mistakes. He has written things which are circumstantial. So I have refuted his commentaries, and I have written my own commentary on Bhagavatam. So Mahaprabhu smiled and he said, oh, he who leaves Swami I consider a prostitute. So the meaning is, if one disagrees with the Acharya and one is not self-realized himself, then one is no better than a prostitute. That's like a very lowly position in the society. It's like a most degraded, almost animal position. Mahaprabhu compared Vallabhacharya's commentation to that. So sadhu sang means one has to agree with the acharyas. So sadhu is someone who is who's in full agreement with acharya. He may not be very knowledgeable, but he's in full agreement with acharya, fully surrendered. So when we are taking sadhu sang, we have to be very careful that the sadhu should be genuine. Simply because someone has a shaven head, wearing saffron, this or that, doesn't mean one is a sadhu. One can be a rascal also. So, by Krishna's mercy, I had a very practical experience. And very smilingly, he said, oh, Prabhupada speaks very harshly. He has insulted women. So I was just laughing, actually. It's like, wow, Krishna is giving me a full realization here. This is what asatsang really is. Complete nonsense. Rejecting the acharya, criticizing the acharya is spiritual suicide. One will look like a sadhu for many years to come, but one will eventually become a demon. Demon, that's what exactly one will become. Because one will be fully overtaken by lust. Because once you disagree with a sadhu, Krishna is taking a note of that. And then Krishna will guide you away from the process of bhakti, and uncontrollable lust will arise within the heart. Then one will degrade completely. So sadhu sang means we have to be very careful. No prajalpa. It should be very strictly Siddhant, fully in agreement with what the Acharyas have spoken. Then we'll advance in bhakti.
Hare Krishna, Babaji.
Hare Krishna.
In such case, then we should confront with that person openly.
Yes, we should confront, or if we cannot confront, then we should simply leave.
Leave off. That's right.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
he was surrounded with his, with his gang, so I mean, I couldn't have fought him there.
that's the way. Either leave it or confront it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he was a brahmachari who spoke like that. So
we
the
have,
ashram doesn't matter. Somebody is in saffron also, and if he's rejecting Prabhupada, then he's doomed.
he's doomed, completely doomed, materially and spiritually. So you see, that's very sad. That's very sad.
Very, very sad. Very sad.
Because I'm very fond of him. Like, I had cultivated him in bhakti many years ago, 20 years ago actually. So it feels very sad.
He should go back.
Yeah, so we can't help it. Maybe we can only pray that Krishna will show him the path one day. He's innocent. I mean, he spoke out of innocence, but that was foolish thing to say.
Like a scorpion.
Yeah.
So this is a very current example of this brahmachari, and again the example you took up was Sri Vallabhacharya. Is the same Sri Vallabhacharya who goes and finds the Pushti mark.
Yes.
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejects his philosophy. He rejects he doesn't hear also, right? He doesn't wants to hear because he's arguing with Sridhar Swami's commentary and proposing himself. His commentary may be better, and he's trying to get the sanction from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's there in the entire Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yeah, it's very interesting. He becomes morose because Mahaprabhu is not willing to listen to him. So you see, this seed of offense in the heart is very dangerous. It destroys one's bhakti completely. See, we are materialistic people. We are in so much of illusion and ignorance. So when the Acharya says something, we have to agree because he's Vigya and we are Murkha. So we have no knowledge. We have to accept the words of Acharya. We are blind. That's why we start our Mangalacharana. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. So we are born in the darkest of ignorance, and spiritual master is opening our eyes. So if we think that spiritual master is making a mistake, then we must understand that we are at mistake. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Prabhupada fanatic or a Ritvik or anything, but because Srila Prabhupada has been accepted as an authority within Gaudiya Math by Sridhar Swami and Akinchan Krishnadas Babaji and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Outside of Gaudiya Math, Ramanuja Sampradaya and Madhva Sampradaya, they accepted Srila Prabhupada as a bona fide Acharya. So what is our position then? How can we refute Srila Prabhupada? That is the most foolish thing to think. So if the great Acharyas of other Sampradayas are also accepting Srila Prabhupada, then what is our position to refute him? And even if one takes this argument at face value that Srila Prabhupada insults women, where he says Yepisu Papa Yonya, even if we accept it on the face value, then how come so many women have become pure devotees under Srila Prabhupada? How come so many women are advancing so nicely? If Prabhupada had an intention of insulting women, then he would have insulted them all along. He would have kicked them out. Why are women advancing so nicely?
What was the strength of the devotee who are making this statement? Or rather, we are wasting our time on such a slasker.
So, no, because you get to hear these things again and again. Yeah, so why I am reciting this, why I'm repeating this particular incident is because many of the devotees will come across such things. And because this is very common understanding nowadays. It's not spoken very openly, but in a few years it will become very open also. So you will get to hear it again and again. So you need to be very careful. So when you understand, when you hear some things which is deviating even a centimeter from Srila Prabhupada, you should just reject it outright. Because no one is qualified to refute Prabhupada.
It says should be discarded.
Then what should be the mood of aspiring devotee, because many times when we come across statements of Prabhupada, so initially we have some disagreement or some sort of why Prabhupada is speaking so tough.
Hmm.
So, but then at the same time, it is important for us to understand it also. So initially we may have such type of apprehension, but what should be the mood cultivated? Because is it like you should keep patience to understand why Prabhupada is speaking like that, or like what should be the mood? Because there is a nice chance that many people may take it wrongly.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, how to understand this? So, first thing is, if you come across such a comment, you look at the broad context. Always look at the broader context. For example, you may find such comment when you are reading the pastimes of, say, Kardam Muni or Shaubhari Muni, or you're reading the pastimes of, say, Prachina Barhishat, or reading the pastime of who's that king, Puranjan. You will come across such statements, but try to understand the broader context there. So when you look at the context, there itself 99% problems will be solved. And second thing you must understand, and this is like a general understanding by which you will forever become free from all misconception. One who thinks he is a woman, soul is always he. One who thinks he is a woman is in illusion and certainly fallen. One who thinks he is a man, he is also in illusion and fallen. Both are fools. जीवेरा स्वरूप होय कृष्णेर अनित्य दास कृष्णेर तटस्थ शक्ति भेदा भेद प्रकाश. Always remember this particular verse. So if you think Prabhupada is being excessively harsh, yes, he should be. In fact, you'll see Prabhupada is being even more harsh towards men. Prachina Bharishat, Puranjan, Prabhupada is criticizing them left and right. So one may come across some stray comment where Prabhupada is criticizing women and then they jump on it. See, Prabhupada is criticizing women. But they don't see that in the rest of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada is criticizing men only.
He criticized even Govardhan Majumdar and Hiranya Majumdar, like Chaitanya
Yes.
Mahaprabhu criticizes.
Yeah, and Govardhan and Hiranya Majumdar, they loved Mahaprabhu, but Mahaprabhu called them worms in stool. So you see, Prabhupada's statements must be understood with a very deep understanding and a very broad context. Then you will be in 100% agreement. What is Mahaprabhu saying? Considering me a fool, my spiritual master instructed me to only chant. So one should be approaching Prabhupada with that mood. I am a fool. If I think Prabhupada is making a mistake, then I am a bigger fool. So I must try to find out where Prabhupada is right and I am mistaken. If one goes with that approach, so that's also a test of our humility. Yes, so this one is very right. This is what Anu Mataji is saying here, that he is Prabhupada's rascal and I would love to be such a rascal. Yeah, so yes, one should be a rascal. Like Prabhupada says, one should always present oneself as a fool in front of the spiritual master. So yes, if we think Prabhupada has made some mistake, we should understand that we have made a mistake. We are not able to see what Prabhupada has written properly.
And none of us got the standard to understand Prabhupada. And understand and make comments on him.
Yes. So humility, that's a test of our humility also.
हमें साहब 100% लोग वो इंग्लिश नहीं लिख सकते उन्होंने लिखी है बाकी सब्जेक्ट में तो छोड़िए.
Absolutely. Okay, so we stop here today. We'll continue tomorrow with this discussion. It's very, very important. Please join. If you want, you can invite your friends also. This is like singularly the most interesting discussion we are going to have in recent times. So,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I have one small question.
yeah,
Now.
please.
Prabhuji, this Vallabhacharya's commentary was totally disregarded and was rejected by Mahaprabhu. But still, he is the Acharya of one of the bona fide sampradaya.
So he apologizes later on.
He?
Later on, he apologizes to Mahaprabhu.
Acha, and did he, the commentary that they read, the Pushti Margis, what commentary is that? It is his commentary or
Yeah, Sridhar Swami's commentary. I mean, no. I mean, it's Vallabhacharya's commentary.
So, but that was rejected, no, by Mahaprabhu.
Yeah, so he, like, he kind of appended it. Then he gave up his false ego.
So, matlab, did he improve the mistakes or whatever this he had done in the commentary, or is it the same? Or we
It
don't know.
appears that he improved.
Okay.
But I mean, because Chaitanya Charitamrita doesn't linger too long on Vallabhacharya.
Hmm.
But Pushti Marg itself is like, it's not really in that sense, not emphasizing too much. It doesn't go into such details as Gaudiya Sampradaya.
Yeah, they have
It doesn't, but it doesn't
there's
come in the
hardly any
four main
preaching
sampradayas,
also.
Mataji. Pushti Marg
Huh?
never comes in the four main sampradayas.
It's like a subsidiary Sampradaya. So actually from Pushti
Then,
Marg emerges the Ramanandi Sampradaya also, which is practically like an Upper Sampradaya.
so this is an offshoot of which sampradaya then? Which of the four main, the Pushti Marg?
Sridhar Swami, so I'll have to check. I think it is from one of the Vrindavan Sampradayas. I think Rudra or Kumara Sampradaya. I mean,
Okay.
Keshavanand Prabhu will be able to better throw light on this because he has researched this Sampradaya very deeply.
Hmm.
But as such, we don't really follow the commentary so much because Gaudiya Sampradaya, we worship Radha and Krishna. Pushti Margis worship Balya Leela.
Hmm.
So that's not exactly the rasa of our Sampradaya.
So, they worship Krishna alone. So that is
Krishna alone.
Krishna alone is not recommended in any of our four sampradayas.
Yeah, none of the, like Madhvacharya or
Yeah, but they say that they worship Krishna with the flute, and matlab, they say that is enough, It's like not worshipping Krishna alone. So, I don't know. Just a little curiosity. Nothing
I'll
else.
check it out. I'll check it out for you because many people have this query. Pushti Marg.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Okay, so thank you very much.
One basic difference is they worship Govindji, and if you remember, like during our Vrindavan Parikrama, the devotees, the most saints of Pushti Marg, in their sampradaya, it is okay to climb the Govardhan and worship Srinathji over there. But from our teachings, Acharya's teachings, so Madhavendra Puri never recommends because Govardhan is Krishna himself. So we never dare to even accidentally step our feet on even a small stone of Govardhan. So that is the reverence and love which we approach. So that there itself the perspectives are different.
But Madhavendra Puri actually is a guru of Vallabhacharya. No?
Madhavendra Puri never climbs the Govardhan. He worships Govardhan from below only. You must have seen all those dioramas and photos.
That I know, but am I right? He was the guru of Vallabhacharya?
No. Nothing has been stated like that. Madhavendra Puri's disciples are it's about Nityanand Prabhu or who are there?
Nityanand Prabhu, Advaita Acharya.
Advaita Acharya, then Ishwar Puri.
Ishwar Puri, yeah, so like big personalities.
Powerful personalities. Vallabhacharya is not mentioned over there.
Somebody said something, I can't recollect. But
like Prabhu said, we can check with Keshavanand Prabhu. He's a researcher.
Yeah, he's an expert on this.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so we stop here today. We'll continue tomorrow. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhuji, I also have a question.
Yeah,
The
boli.
question is topic se nahi hai. I was listening to Chaitanya Bhagavat Maharaj Ji ki one of the class, and he was talking about sharing the pastime जहाँ पे वो लक्ष्मी माता जी, लक्ष्मी देवी जी, she's serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, और जब चैतन्य महाप्रभु जाते हैं प्रीच करने के लिए, like he was saying कि वो the feeling के चैतन्य महाप्रभु उनसे दूर हैं, वो so much, मतलब इतनी ज्यादा हो गई कि she ended up leaving a material body on the side of Padmavati river and she eternally went
हाँ
to alongside of Mahaprabhu. तो
हम्म
मुझे एक बात समझ में नहीं आई, जब हम बाकी कई एग्जाम्पल्स पढ़ते हैं, अगर प्रभुपाद जी का एग्जाम्पल देखें, प्रभुपाद जी तो कृष्णा की एसोसिएशन छोड़ के टू सर्व हिम ही केम हियर, तो
हाँ
फिर सर्विस एटीट्यूड तो ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है ना।
हम्म
तो चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने तो उनको कहा था कि जब मैं जाऊं तो यू टेक केयर ऑफ माय मदर, मतलब ये सर्विस होगी आपकी, यू टेक केयर ऑफ माय मदर व्हाइल आई एम गॉन।
हम्म
तो फिर वो तो छोड़ के वापस चैतन्य महाप्रभु के पास आ गए।
शी लेफ्ट हर बॉडी, लक्ष्मी प्रिया।
तो फिर सर्विस सर्विस कैसे पूरी हुई? सर्विस तो पूरी नहीं ना हुई।
हाँ, she couldn't take it. She couldn't take that separation. So when Prabhupada also left, so many disciples left this world. So every disciple of Prabhupada is actually, so Prabhupada says, when a spiritual master leaves this body, the spirit does, sometimes it is all right for the disciple to also leave this body. So if the disciple gives up his body in separation from his spiritual master, that is perfectly sanctioned by the scriptures.
ओह अच्छा जी। दैट्स डिस्पाइट ऑफ द फैक्ट कि सर्विस उन्होंने करने को कहा, मतलब उनका
हाँ
ऑर्डर ये था कि मुझे सर्व करो।
हाँ, but she couldn't take it. She couldn't take that separation.
ओह अच्छा जी।
There are different extensions of Srimati Radharani. Lakshmi Priya,
ट्रू।
in her role, expresses a different mood, and Srimati Radharani is always again with Chaitanya, always Lord Chaitanya, always, because Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nai Anya. So in that way also is there, and Srimati Radharani is also again present in the form of Gadadhar Pandit also. So it is too much difficult for us to comprehend when we are talking about direct Krishna and Krishna Tattva.
ठीक है जी, थैंक यू
So
प्रभु जी।
you can see the personalities are already existing simultaneously,
यस दैट्स ट्रू।
and but they are expressing a different mood in different roles. All the roles are genuine and correct, so we cannot think which is the best or correct.
एंड ऑल्सो प्रभु जी, एक नया वो हु रोट श्रीमद् रामायणम, ये वाल्मीकि जी ने लिखी है।
पता नहीं, आप क्यों पढ़ रही हैं
ये
ये लेकिन?
ने पढ़ नहीं रही, ये एक सीरियल शुरू हुआ है जो हमारे घर में सभी देख रहे हैं, श्रीमद्
अब
रामायणम।
देखिए,
सो आई एम वंडरिंग
बेकार
कि
है
ये
तो,
लिजिट है या छोड़े।
बेकार है। टीवी
ओह
में आ रहा
अच्छा
है तो बेकार ही है।
ठीक है
सीरियल
ठीक
सभी के लिए मत देखे, मत जी, जो नए नए लोग हैं वो लोग के लिए ठीक है।
ठीक है
लेकिन हम लोग नहीं देखना चाहिए, क्योंकि वो कुछ भी बोनाफाइड नहीं रहता, वो सब खिचड़ी रहता है।
ठीक है जी। तो आई थॉट मैं पूछ लूं
वाल्मीकि जी
पहले।
का रामायण भी पढ़ेंगे, देखेंगे, फिर ऑथेंटिक वन इज वाल्मीकि जी रामायण, at वो भी everything is rendered. We nowhere have the direct script, that is संस्कृत श्लोका and translation उस तरीके से तो कहीं पे है नहीं है, प्रभुपाद ने कुछ बताया नहीं उसके ऊपर। And
प्रभुपाद जी ने बताया तो फिर तो
yeah, and it was really important. हम लोग हमेशा डिस्कस करते हैं, मधुसूदन प्रभु बोलते हैं, if it was really important, Prabhupada would have told us, read Ramayana.
बताते सही बात है, या दैट्स ट्रू, वो बताते हैं
And
हमें।
and secondly, if it wasn't really very important, then Prabhupada would have taken ninth canto as a chance and given very detailed purport. But no, Prabhupada didn't feel that much, so we go ahead with what Prabhupada says.
ठीक है जी। वो सारे सीरियल वो वाला देख रहे थे, शोर मचा रहे थे, बहुत अच्छा हुआ, तो आई वाज लाइक ओके, देखने से पहले पूछ लूं, देखने
घर
वाला भी
वाले
है कि
बच्चे देख सकते हैं ऐसा, क्योंकि वो लोग नहीं तो वो भी नहीं करेंगे तो फिर और कुछ देखेंगे।
ट्रू, दैट्स ट्रू।
हम
ठीक है जी।
लोग ज्यादा इमोशनल नहीं हो जाना चाहिए सबको देख के,
ठीक है जी, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर।
ऐसा मुझे लगता है। बाकी डिवोटीज का अलग अलग है। वैसे हमारे कुछ डिवोटीज है जो पहले वाले महाभारत सब सेव करके देखते रहते हैं जब भी उनको थोड़ा टाइम निकालना है, लेकिन जेन्युइन डिवोटीज जो रियली सीरियसली भक्ति करना चाहते हैं उनके पास टाइम ही नहीं है माता जी। तो वो लोग वो पूरा महाभारत वापस कैसे देखेंगे, वही मैं सोच रहा हूँ। उनके पास कितना टाइम कहाँ से मिल रहा
बुक पढ़ी जाए वो बहुत है।
है। तो एक बार हमारा साधना अच्छा से हो जाएगा, उसके बाद फिर हमें प्रचार के लिए बहुत कुछ सोचना पड़ता है। अब याद है आपने एक बार बीच में प्रश्न पूछा था कि आपने एक दिन छुट्टी लिया, you
जी।
took a holiday and were thinking. So Prabhuji told that one thing, like we'll have to contemplate how to preach to these people, how to reach to these people, and so much of our time and energy we have to think on how to spend and give time to the really interested people and inspire them. फिर हम लोग को ये सीरियल देखने को टाइम कहाँ मिलने वाला है?
बिल्कुल सही, बिल्कुल सही। ठीक है जी,
हरे
थैंक यू सो
कृष्ण।
मच प्रभु जी।
Yeah, thank you.
थैंक यू जी। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare
धन्यवाद
Krishna.
प्रणाम जी।
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
जय हरे
Jai.
कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.